Welcome to Ifa Stories, where ancient wisdom meets modern storytelling. Step into the sacred tradition of Ifa, rooted in Yoruba land and shaped through centuries of interaction with neighboring West African cultures and preserved in the Lukumi tradition of the diaspora. Here we engage the Ifa divination corpus, the sacred Odu through which Orúnmìlà reveals insight into destiny and moral order, reflected in the lives of Orisha, Irunmole, Awos, communities, and all who seek guidance. These are not distant myths, but living teachings, bridges between past and present, illuminating responsibility, consequence, and the human path. Honor the wisdom. Reflect on destiny. Journey with us into the heart of Ifa. Subscribe and let the stories speak. Learn more at ifastories.com. Introductory note. This retelling draws on a traditional account as presented in Ifism, Volume 3, The Complete Works of Orúnmìlà, The Odus of Oyekun, by C. Osamaro Ibi. The narration and commentary in this presentation are original to Ifa Stories. He made divination for the snake. Before the snake was feared on earth, he was not yet a snake in the form by which the world would know him. Before honor came to him, he lived in a condition of low use and little regard. What changed that condition did not begin in violence. It began in divination, offering, and a prayer made with seriousness. This story moves between heaven and earth. It begins in the unseen order, where a being's condition is first named, and where ritual action prepares what later becomes visible in the world. It is also a story about sacred correction. A low condition is not changed through desire alone. It is approached through divination, through the serving of the head, and through higher sanction. But once warning is given, neglect has its own path, and what is left uncorrected does not remain still forever. The being later called Eho was first known as Alele. In heaven, he was an ordinary rope. He could neither bite nor harm. He was used only as an instrument for tying loads. Though he was called the king of ropes, both he and his children had no peace, because he was commonly used for tying firewood and other burdens. He did not wish to come to earth only to continue in that same condition. He wanted peace. He wanted honor. He wanted dignity. He wanted to be treated more respectably among the people of the world. And because of that desire, he went to Orúnmìlà for divination. When Alele came before Orúnmìlà, Orúnmìlà asked one of his followers to make divination for him. That follower was called Agba ni Moju, Oron Tekpe, On ni Ondifa fun Eho. Best effort contextual meaning. Agba ni Moju, Oron Tekpe. He was the diviner who performed Ifa for the snake. In the story, this line identifies the ritual specialist called by Orúnmìlà. It marks the lawful beginning of Alele's transformation through divination, showing that his change did not begin by chance or force, but through recognized sacred procedure. It was this follower who made divination for Alele. And at divination, Alele was told exactly what he must do if he wished to leave behind his low condition and obtain honor, fear, and dignity in the world. He was told to serve his head with white and red kola nuts inside his house. Then he was told to serve his head again with another set of white and red kola nuts by the side of the road outside his house. This was the path revealed for him to command honor, fear, and dignity among the people of the world. The instruction was exact. The materials mattered, the locations mattered, the sequence mattered. And elsewhere in the story, another warning would also be given, but that warning would not be obeyed. After serving his head in the house at night, Alele left the following morning for the road leading to the venue of the Divine Council of Heaven. There he sat by the roadside and prayed to his head. At that same time, God was on his way to the meeting of the Divine Council. God met Alele praying. When God heard what he was wishing for, he asked Alele to give him the 2 kola nuts with which he had been praying. But Alele refused. He refused because Orúnmìlà had advised him to use those kola nuts to serve his head. Then God asked him what desire he was serving his head for. And Alele replied that he had been created as a non-entity and as a universal servant, and that he did not want to suffer the same fate on earth where he was about to go. Once again, the Almighty Father asked him to surrender the kola nuts, and this time Alele willingly did so. Then God ordered him to open his mouth. Alele obeyed. And as soon as he opened his mouth, God spoke into it and spat into it. Then, without saying any other word, God continued on his divine journey. The words spoken into Alele's mouth were these: Iwo Okun, Emi fun oni ase wipe. On ki on ti oba so ni aye. Ni won yi oboni. Oke orun ni oho na. Meaning provided in the source. You rope, I endow you, with such authority that whenever you speak on earth, your words will be heard, in heaven on the same day. That command meant that whenever the snake bites, the victim will feel it instantly, and if not treated, will get to heaven on the same day. What had been prepared through ritual was now sealed by higher force. Alele left for Earth the following day. He got to the Earth and continued to be used as a rope. The change had already happened, but the world had not yet understood what it meant. Meanwhile, Olofin made divination in his palace. He was advised to make sacrifice to avoid the danger of losing a human soul before the end of that year. He was told to give a he-goat to Eshu in order to have the necessary peace and tranquility to perform his annual festival without losing a soul. But Olofin regarded the prediction as far-fetched, and so he ignored both the advice and the sacrifice. That neglected warning did not disappear. It remained active. Meanwhile, the members of Olofin's household began to prepare for the annual festival. The Oba's favorite wife led a team into the forest to fetch firewood for use during the festival. After gathering the firewood, they looked for ropes to tie it up. There, the favorite wife of the Oba saw Alele with his smooth body. After uprooting him from the ground, she began to handle him like ordinary rope. But Alele warned her not to treat him shabbily. She ignored the warning. She continued to fold up the rope, and as she folded him up toward her hands, he attacked her with the help of his newly acquired authority from God. She quickly threw him away and shouted for help. All her companions came running to her. She began to bleed from the point of impact and to vomit. The others quickly rushed her home. But before they got home, she died. That incident put a stop to the preparations for the festival. The Oba ordered the royal herald to announce the cancellation of that year's festival, and the Oba also decreed that Eho, as he came to be called thenceforth, or Alele, had acquired the instrument of authority, ASE, for respect and honor. The proclamation was made in these words: Keni Keni Ma'amu, Pakun Eho Digi Loko, Ori Eho Ma'akpa Irele Eho. Best effort contextual meaning: let all take notice. Eho has become a force, and his authority is no longer to be treated lightly. In the story, this line functions as a royal proclamation. It expresses the public recognition of Eho's newly acquired ASE, respect and honor, after his hidden transformation becomes visible in the human world. What began as ritual correction and divine empowerment is now confirmed at the social level through royal speech. What had been hidden was no longer hidden. Royal authority gave public form to what divination, offering, and divine speech had already established. And the story continues beyond the event. It says that when this Odu appears at divination, a person who lacks honor and respect should be told to make sacrifice to the head with kola nuts inside the house and again outside the house. This is not vague advice. It is a direct continuation of the story's living authority. Through that act, such a person may come to command respect, fear, and recognition among fellow human beings. A low condition does not change by longing alone. It changes through right instruction, proper offering, and higher sanction. But warning, once given, must be respected. What is neglected does not disappear. In time, it reveals its consequence.